All right, guys, it has come to my attention that I need to do I don't know what the terminology would be, but a quick little video, a one-off video showing how I mix my resin. And today I'm using, wrong direction. Today I'm using art resin, and I'm just gonna put together a little video, no speeding up, nothing like that, of me measuring out and then mixing my resin so that you guys can see how I do it, because in my videos I don't want to have to show you in every single video. So instead I'm going to make one video and then link to this video every time I talk about how I mix my resin, so that you guys can come and see, but that you don't have to watch it every single time I do a video. So we are going to get started. I've got my 2 cups here. This is how I measure my resin, because it's by volume, not by weight. And these cups have these little ridges. So I usually fill up to the top of the little ridges on both cups, so I know it's the same. And then I will put it into a bigger cup and then stir. So we are going to start with this one, the hardener. And I'm going to go pretty high on these, because what I'm actually using this resin for needs quite a bit of resin. So I'm gonna fill it all the way up to the top little ridge. All right, perfect. And then I will let that settle, and then I will pour not the hardener, but the regular part. Usually it's like a part A and a part B, but the art resin calls it resin and then hardener. So that's what I will call it in this video. Up to that top. Oop. I may have gone over a little bit. If I did, I will just add a little bit more of the hardener in this other cup. And I will hold them up next to each other. Yeah, I need just a dabble more of the hardener to make it even. I think that's probably good. And honest, that's such a small amount that it probably wouldn't affect it, but I do not like taking chances. All right, that's great. Now I'm going to use my popsicle stick, and I'm gonna empty these out into my other cup here. And I'm sure you guys can hear the birds outside. I can hear the birds outside. Proper ventilation, and using your, what are those letters? There's always those letters that basically means your safety standards when working with resin, because it can be, or I guess is toxic. And a lot of people, even though the bottles will tell you that it's not toxic, a lot of people will tell you it's still toxic. So make sure you're using your PPE, is that what it is? Some kind of letters, proper protective equipment or something like that. All right, and now we are going to stir. So I try and bring some from the bottom up, because we have all of one part on the bottom and all of the other part on the top. So I try and push some down, and the slower you go, and I scrape the sides with my stick to make sure that it's all incorporated. The slower you go, the less bubbles that you will get, but I think you're still gonna end up with bubbles either way. And a lot of people will say you need to stir for a very specific amount of time. But I think as long as, because right now it's got like a cloudy kind of a, when you pull it up and like peek through, it's got like a cloudy kind of a texture. That, well, not texture, cloudy kind of a look, I guess. And that is definitely not mixed properly, not mixed 100%, because you, that means that it's still separated. Whenever it's all the way together, it'll be clear like glass. It'll have bubbles in it, of course, but it'll be clear like water or like glass. Clean glass. All right, now I'm gonna pull some from the bottom and push from the top down. That's what I'm doing with these motions. And I know that that is adding bubbles. But, you know, most of the time, you're gonna pop your bubbles when you're using the resin either way. Unless if you're doing like pouring it into like a shape mold. But I have heard if you let it sit like this for just a couple of minutes, because your working time with this is usually about 30 or 40 minutes. If you let it sit for a couple of minutes, the bubbles will come up to the top and you can pop them with a torch. The same goes for if you pour it into your mold and you let it sit and you come back every like 5 minutes or so and you use your torch to pop the bubbles. Not saying every bubble will come up because a lot of times it doesn't work that way. All right, we've got a pretty clear consistency here. When I pull it up and look through it, it doesn't look cloudy. I mean, you can see the bubbles, but you can see straight through like glass. And that to me says that this is finished. It is ready to go. It is ready to work with. You can put it in your mold, pour it on your cup, coat whatever it is that you're coating, whatever it is that you're doing with it. So now you guys know how I mix my resin. And yeah, I hope that this is helpful for you guys. I will see you next time.